Do you know these 4 ways of improving your telepsychology services? The COVID-19 pandemic has caused healthcare providers to make swift changes to telehealth services. This transition to online health services also includes telepsychology. Many psychologists have had to adapt with makeshift telepsychology services, usually without the necessary documentation or workflow setup. The American Psychological Association has published specific telepsychology guidelines that psychologists should be aware of. Complying with regulations and providing the highest level of service possible to patients should be a top priority. I'm Sissy with Jotform, and if you think your telepsychology service needs a boost, stick around. In today's video, we'll discuss 4 areas you can improve and how to take action in doing so. Let's go! First up on our list of necessary telepsychology improvements is being proactive about data security. In response to COVID-19, the Office for Civil Rights did relax its HIPAA compliance regulations for telehealth, but that doesn't mean HIPAA is no longer necessary. Having this mindset is how hackers exploit patients' sensitive information. In order to be considered HIPAA compliant, you have to have a formal agreement maintaining the security and privacy of patient data with each software service you use. This is called a Business Associate Agreement, or BAA. As a telepsychology practitioner, it's your responsibility to keep your cybersecurity up to snuff. If you're unsure, get educated. Figure out if there are any additional measures you should be taking in order to meet legal obligations for patient confidentiality. Understand the policies and pick your technology accordingly. Another great way to beef up your telepsychology services is to assess each patient and make sure they're a good fit before you get started. This can be as simple as establishing a screening process. Perhaps they don't have the bandwidth or tools to successfully join a telepsychology appointment, like an at-home computer. Maybe your potential patient lacks the finger dexterity and hand-eye motor control to work a mouse. Making sure your services will actually serve your patients is key. Try troubleshooting with patients by offering a meeting via telephone rather than video conferencing. Or, if they're not confident in their own ability to connect via video, they can enlist the help of a trusted family member. These are all fixes that can be assessed and addressed in an initial screening. Another very important part of your telepsychology practice is obtaining informed consent. This means explaining to your patients how they'll be receiving treatments and how their data will be stored. Jotform's HIPAA-compliant online consent form template is a great place to start. It's fully customizable, which means you can make the form fit your specific practice. You can find sample informed consent documents online through the major professional associations for psychologists, but no one can make informed consent documents for you. You must take the time to ensure that your document reflects your state laws and your ethical requirements. Our last tip is to put emergency response protocols into place and practice them. Telehealth can make emergencies particularly difficult. It's harder to assess and control a situation when you're not there in person. Perhaps a patient shows up intoxicated or has a medical emergency. What would you do? Not only should you create a telehealth-specific emergency protocol, but you also need to practice implementing it. If you fumble and mishandle an emergency situation, you could discourage the patient from getting further help, or worst case scenario, cause some serious danger to their or someone else's well-being. COVID-19 will eventually be an issue of the past, but telehealth services are here to stay. And that includes telepsychology, so it'd be well worth your time and energy to fully invest in your telepsychology service. Patients no longer have to travel to see a specialist or regularly take time off of work to make an appointment happen. This makes mental health support more accessible. But to be truly effective, you, the practitioner, have to comply with all of the applicable laws and offer a high level of service. Making telehealth and telepsychology services as professional as possible will get people the help they need. With these 4 tips, your telepsychology practice will be running at maximum compliance and efficiency in no time. Let's do a quick review. First, be proactive about data security. Make sure that even online, you are following all the state and HIPAA regulations. Second, assess whether telepsychology is right for each patient. Provide an initial screening so you can identify if a patient is a good fit or would benefit from in-person services. Third, obtain informed consent. Build your own online consent form so patients know what to expect and how their data is being stored. And fourth, practice your emergency response. Create, practice, and implement your emergency protocol so you and your patients are as safe as possible. Thanks for watching Jotform. I'm Sissy. See you next time.